What's going on, everybody? You found Bottom Tier Collector. I'm your host, The Bearded One, bringing you bottom tier content from a bottom tier collector. Today, we got a bottom tier book, a book a lot of people look over when they're talking about Action Comics. We got issue 587, some John Byrne goodness on Etrigan. Fantastic cover. It just pops. And the colors are great. I don't know, in this day and age when we're used to 9.8 white page books, I don't know if this book is a little faded. The whites appear yellowed a little bit. It doesn't appear white and crisp like the whites on this action figure box. But it may be intentional. It may be intended to be off-white. I'm not sure. You know, back in the days of newsprint, you know, newspaper wasn't white. You know, the board, the wall is whiter than the outside of the book. So I don't know. Definitely not so yellow that I can actually confirm sun damage, but overall a gorgeous, gorgeous cover. I found it for $1 at Dave's Comics in Atlanta, and I had to get it into the collection. I don't know if I'm going to collect the entire appearance history of Etrigan, him being my second favorite character of all time. And I'm doing so with Lobo, collecting his appearance history. However, with Etrigan, I don't know if I want to go into another daunting hunt for that. But I'm having fun picking up, you know, random covers that look really cool of Etrigan on top of collecting his main history and his solo titles. In 587, it's just some good 80s fun John Byrne greatness on the pencils. We start off in the book with Glenda and Jason Blood in an antique shop. It appears to be a little more black market things that you wouldn't normally see in a regular antique shop. And they're perusing around. They're, you know, looking at things. Jason Blood is acknowledged by the antique shop owner about being a world famous demonologist. And Glenda picks up an artifact, you know, and if you're familiar with scary movies or demon movies or exorcist movies, things of that nature, don't open up black market artifacts, right? Well, Glenda opens it up, and she immediately is transformed into this tower, like a actual building tower, and she starts growing, and everybody's in shock and awe. What's going on here? And the tower shoots out tendrils, and once these tendrils touch you, you are turned into a tower, and you get the idea. More and more people are being turned into these building towers via these tendrils. And one of these tendrils shoots out at Jason Blood, and in order to save himself, he transforms into, of course, Etrigan. If you don't know anything about Etrigan, quick backstory. Merlin, the half-brother of Etrigan, bound Etrigan and Jason Blood together. They are soulmates, if you will, per a curse put on them by Merlin. So that's how Jason Blood's able to turn into Etrigan, the demon. And then we're taken into a scene of Superman handing back Russia's piece of machinery, like a satellite or something, puts it back on the Russian space station. And then he's flying back down to Earth, and there's just an odd little piece of script here where he's flying back down to Earth, and he's thinking to himself, it's really nice being Superman, but you know, if I didn't have my secret identity, I would lose my mind, or something to that effect. And I just thought it was silly. I was thinking to myself, no one thinks this way. Why is this even here, this scene? But as Superman is flying back down to Earth, he sees the City of Lost Souls. It's not called City of Lost Souls in the book, but I assume by the title of the story, that's what it's called. I have no idea where the City of Lost Souls is, the setting of where this takes place, but Superman goes down there. He's on the scene trying to survey and collect data on what's taking place. And he starts trying to smash these buildings and break up the towers. And then he runs into Etrigan. And he's like, Etrigan, I don't know how you're involved, but I'm going to stop you. and Etrigan scuffles with Superman. We get a pretty cool action scene. We even get Etrigan blasting him with demon fire, and Superman's like, this doesn't hurt me physically, but the demon fire is reaching my soul and burning my soul, and that's really painful. And I thought that was cool, a unique take on, like laser beams that we've seen from a lot of heroes at this point in time. This demon fire that burns your soul but doesn't hurt you physically makes Etrigan different from a lot of other characters. Not a power I'm used to seeing from Etrigan, might I add. But yeah, finally, eventually, Superman calms down. I think he hurls Etrigan, or he punches one of the towers, and they see human blood coming out of the towers. And Etrigan finally gets Superman settled down, because during this whole scuffle, he's been trying to tell Superman, calm down, don't smash anything, don't hurt these people. And then finally, when Superman calms down, he finally gets to explain, hey, these are real people. And Superman's like, oh my gosh, how terrible. And Etrigan's like, there is a way to reverse this. We have to go back in time to stop this event from ever happening. But before he explains that, there's this cheesy bit of dialogue. I'll put a picture up right here. Superman's like, how, demon, how? And that's how I read it. This deep, dramatic voice. I thought Superman needed like a Shakespearean skull in his head. How, demon, how? It just cracked me up. But they go back, or Etrigan's able to transport Superman back in time. He's not able to follow Superman because he can't cross the time dimension in his own timeline, which is a clue. He's sending Superman to see Jason Blood. I didn't pick up on that while reading it, but I picked up on it, as I'm mulling over and processing the story on camera. But he's taken to 1162 AD, and we're immediately put into a Monty Python and the Holy Grail reference. If you remember the scene where King Arthur and Patsy fake horse ride through the dirty village, and you see the dead body collector. He's like, bring out your dead, bring out your dead. There's a whole funny scene of one of the members of the village killing the guy on his back to throw him on the cart and get rid of him. That scene is essentially here in this comic book. We get a bring out your dead body collector, and Superman asks the body collector where Jason Blood is, and as he's walking away to go to Jason Blood's place, some of the villagers say, who do you think that is? And one of the villagers says a king. And the other villager's like, why do you suppose that? And the villager says, because he doesn't, only a king could wear a robe that's not covered in filth. And it's just a straight reference to Monty Python and the Holy Grail. And I thought it was great, that reference to that movie. My favorite movie of all time. So Superman meets Jason Blood. Jason Blood's been expecting him because he could sense the time travel power. And Superman, Jason Blood kind of gets the skivvy on what's going on with Superman, and Jason Blood then transports into Etrigan and finds Morgan Le Fay in disguise of a little kid. Morgan Le Fay is the longtime villain of Etrigan, kind of the big baddie of his lore, and she traps Etrigan and Superman into this iron cage, and it's so strong Etrigan can't break free of it, and Morgan Le Fay starts doing nefarious things. And Etrigan's like, we got to stop her. I can't break free. Well, you got the Man of Steel right behind you in your cage. And he smashes open the gates. We stop Morgan Le Fay. And then we're instantly transported back to present day time where It's kind of cop out in terms of creative effort in the book, but there's a couple panels that are repeated from the beginning of the book, meant to just show we're taken right back to the moment where, right back to the first page of the comic book where Glenda and Jason enter the room. It's the same panel for panel pages, just repeated. But then we're taken into a new section where Glenda opens the artifact and she's no longer, nothing happens. Morgan Le Fay had been defeated, so the magic from that artifact that she created didn't exist. So, good on everybody for saving the day. But Jason Blood doesn't even realize that the day had been saved. They see Superman flying overhead, and Jason Blood, the book ends with Jason Blood saying, wherever Superman's flying, wherever he came from, good thing it's not here where I'm at. And that's really the story, just a short, sweet, simple story. Just this was a day and age where you got entire stories inside one comic book. You didn't have to read 6 issues and for the trade paperback. You got everything you needed right here. I thought it was a fun story. I don't regret reading it, but is it the greatest story of all time? Definitely not. It was corny. I went over some of the corny writing. This is also an Etrigan. I'm not used to seeing an Etrigan that's a little more benevolent. He's a little more empathetic towards humanity, or as I'm used to Etrigan being just a scumbag, an up to good nothing, up to no good demon. And it was kind of weird here. I also noticed the chant Jason Blood speaks to turn into Etrigan is different here. And this is probably, other than Demon #1, which I have read, this is the oldest Demon comic I've ever read. So a lot has taken place between Demon 1 and this issue. A lot of things I need to get filled in on. And I also like at the end that there's a little editor's note right at the very end of the comic book. And it says this takes place prior to the Demon miniseries. And I believe they're referring to the mid-'80s Demon miniseries, which is pretty much the Demon Volume 2, which I've collected. And if you wish to do so, I have a playlist of runs I've completed. That Demon Volume 2 completed run that I completed is in that playlist where I show you all 4 issues. It's a little old, it's a little rough video, but if you want to go through my history, go through my playlist, yeah, it'll be in the runs I completed playlist, and it'll be the Demon Volume 2 run. And I believe, again, that is what the editor's note is referencing. So that'll do me, guys, for today. Hope you enjoyed this little review, trying to put a little more effort into the video. So hopefully I was able to put some pictures up for you guys, add a little flavor to the videos. Tomorrow, got Superman 75, Death of Superman. As I stated at the end of my Neil Collects Challenge video, I couldn't find the actual issues that lead into Superman 75. I was hoping to provide a lot of backstory and context like I did in the Fatal Attractions review. Probably not going to be able to do that, although I think the backstory and the lead in to Superman 75 is pretty cut and dry. If you've ever read it, you know what I'm talking about. But we will review Superman 75 tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to it. As always, thank you for liking, subscribing, commenting. It's always much appreciated. Until next time.